My question is quite simple. As constitutional sheriffs, Tom and your partner there, you have sworn to uphold the Constitution of the United States, and we understand what nullification means. So would it not be logical for a sheriff who is sworn to uphold the Constitution to nullify an unjust law?
Oh, good grief. I guess the best, we've had this asked before in the past 4 or 5 years, and we're also sworn to the California Constitution, and we are law enforcement officers, and so I guess my first answer to the question is it sounds good, but no. We have to represent all citizens in our counties, and we have to do it in the best way we can. Part of this, I appreciate, and maybe that's not the right word, but the movement here that with you folks, Tea Party folks, that's been going on for I think 6 years now, 7 years maybe.
What is that? Can you clarify what you meant?
The educational process to citizens that I've become aware of since I've been a sheriff. This is my 7th year. I think that's where it's at. It's because we want to do the right thing for ourselves, our families, and our citizens, but we also have to remain credible. And if we lose credibility by saying we're going to nullify federal law, or nullify state laws that are what I deem unconstitutional from the federal side, I think I'm going to lose credibility. So hopefully that answered your question.
Let me ask a question or clarify that question a little bit. And were you referring to the Tea Party as the movement here? Was that what you were referring to?
Well, I use Tea Party. Whatever movement. The reason I use Tea Party is because that movement, those individuals who, like I said, who first came across, from my knowledge, 7 years ago, have become so educated, and I call the Tea Party folks the educated people.
Okay.
Well, now, yeah. I'm not saying that nobody else is on that.
Yeah, and I think that would
mission.
reference. This is an educated group. I don't know that they're all Tea Party. So I think the underlying question here that we're all asking, that I'm hearing from people, is, as our last defense, do you have the power or authority to defend our rights from the state of California and what they're doing? Do you have that power and that control, and are you able to exercise it? I think that's the question that we're asking.
I think we do, but it would be a case-by-case basis. Yes. So, yeah, I think we do.
Good.
Just to clarify, what he is saying, in essence, which is the truth, in which you do have jurisdiction, which you can create interposition, and then you can have the nullification process. The Bill of Rights trumps everything, period. End of sentence. I think that's what Ross was trying to say. Okay, and that was the question he wanted to know. I mean, that just trumps it. There is no other answer. And I have a question for Mark Baird. I have a question about just what I said to Mark Baird.
The answer to that's no, because there is Supreme Court case law to say that a sheriff can't be compelled to enforce federal law, but there is no case law to say that a sheriff can't be compelled to enforce state law, for one. And for two, it's a great idea, but it wouldn't work, folks, because even if the sheriff instructed every deputy in his command, do not enforce PC 26530 or whatever, that doesn't mean that Fish and Game wouldn't. It doesn't mean Highway Patrol wouldn't. It doesn't mean that the DMV cops that have guns now wouldn't, or the Insurance Commission, they have guns too, that they wouldn't, or that DOJ would come in and kick the door in and do their thing at midnight when the sheriff wasn't even around. The interposition of state against state is a great idea, but it won't work. You need a state that has constitutional liberty to begin with, because sheriffs cannot be compelled to, or cannot be asked to stand on that stump alone and stand in the hurricane and say, we will stop the state government from infringing on every right that we have. Number one, it's too much to ask.
Right.
And number two, it won't work. So what we need to do is we need to form a government that has constitutional liberty so that everyone is in a position to demand their liberty and expect to get it. But you can't stand here and ask one elected official to stand between you and the hurricane that's coming towards you. And it's too late anyway.
And I think we do have to remind ourselves that they are. You guys are the ones that are doing it right now.
They do to the best of their ability,
right.
and all the constitutional sheriffs in the North State do that. But
That's
you
right.
can't ask more than that.